Good morning, everyone. Chris here. We are back at Anchor in Atlantic Highlands. We just got a new neighbor since sunrise. Um, and then that catamaran right there, they stayed on Anchor the whole time. And then that boat on the rocks was on the rocks before the storm came. But it did definitely get pummeled. So we may go for a walk and see just how much it was pummeled. But look at that sunrise. It's nice to be at Anchor again. We, let's see, it says it's blowing 7 knots, which is very, very nice. Anyway, we have a lot to do today from the gorgeous Anchorage. Look at this. Back to paying $0. Always, always fun. All right, let's see who our neighbors are. All right, I think they were here before the storm, and I think they joined us on a mooring. And then over this way, we have this gorgeous cat. And they stayed on Anchor the whole time. And I don't think they moved an inch. And then, as I mentioned, they were on the rocks before the storm, but they were in a different orientation, so they got pummeled. It's going to take a crane to lift that off the rocks because they grounded at like the moon high tide, so not going to float off, that's for sure. Let's see. So our neighbors stayed at Anchor and they were fine. So why did we go to a mooring? 2 reasons. One, Liam and I went for a walk and we walked past that boat on the rocks. And 2, there's no way I would have slept. That storm lasted days. And I would have been stuck staring at the Anchor monitor the whole time. So here's our Anchor monitor. So we've got, when we first got here, when the wind shifted and we reset, so this would have been what we had for the storm. And then there's our new Anchor spot. You can see us developing that nice arc. All right, so I mentioned I had a lot to do today. Let's see. I haven't looked at my grading all week, and it's Wednesday. And students need feedback before Friday, or when they go to work on their homework this weekend, they're going to be like freaking out. And we have some go-getters who like to get started earlier in the week, so they really need their feedback. So then what else? I have some grant paperwork that I was supposed to do that I didn't do, so I'll do that. And then we have a faculty meeting on Friday, and I'm in charge of 2 committees, so I need to get those committee reports done before the faculty meeting. And then I owe some lady source documents for 2 graduate certificates that I'm also in charge of that she needs to review before the faculty meeting. Anyway, so I'm gonna pour myself a little tea here. Look at that. Oh, just what the doctor ordered. And then at some point we'll wander to town. My laptop is dead, and I could charge it off these batteries, but these batteries are running at like 27%, and our generator is behaving badly. I think either we got water in the fuel during the storm, we picked up bad fuel, or it's the carburetor. So I'm gonna get some fuel additive today, and hopes that it's just like water in the fuel, and doing the fuel additive will help that through. And then the sun's coming out, so we'll get solar. So anyway, lots to do. And then at some point we got to scrape the bottom and do other prep work so that we're ready to go at a moment's notice. Although it looks like we're going to leave right after the faculty meeting on Friday. The question then becomes, do we go all the way to Norfolk, Virginia? Specifically, we like to anchor at the Monroe Monument little thing in the Phoebes network, at the Phoebes neighborhood. Great place to anchor. Pretty good holding, and a really convenient town to like go to shore and get stuff. And then do we go all the way there, which if we left on Friday afternoon, we'd probably face a headwind near the end and end up getting there Monday at some point. in the morning, hopefully before lunch? Or do we leave Friday afternoon and show up at the Delaware River and be like, screw it, lose Delaware behind the breakwater looks good, and then sleep for a few days, and then go like next week or something? I don't know. I figure we'll know when we get there, at the two places. We'll refresh the weather. As we're crossing the Delaware, we'll refresh the weather forecast and see what it says. But I'd like to do the whole hop in one go, and just be not having to worry quite so much about weather. Because once you're inside the ICW, weather is still a concern, but it's not like, are you going to get stuck here for 3 months? And if you are stuck here for 3 months, it's usually not that bad a deal. Anyway, I'm going to drink my tea, get started on my day. Hope everyone is safe and sound, and I will chat with you later. Bye.